Welcome back to the Universal Thought Podcast, where we share universal thoughts, ideas, concepts, philosophies, and we just have all around good conversations, man. Listen, we got a special one today. Now this person here, listen, this is a childhood friend, a sister. I've been knowing her since like the 7th grade. I'm so proud of her right now because she's doing things. She's actually like operating in her purpose. You get what I'm saying? And we grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same schools, and I always knew, I felt like she would probably be doing something like what she's doing now based on the type of person she is. Real bubbly, real outgoing, real, real. She's a person's person. You get what I'm saying? So let me go down these credentials real quick because we got to bring you in right. So you're with Memphis Allies, right?
Correct.
All right, that's you're a community relations coordinator for Orange Mound.
Correct.
Memphis Allies is an entity of youth. You partner with youth villages. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's
youth villages employees.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's collaborative initiative bringing together community groups, resources to create safer neighborhoods.
Correct.
She's in the inner neighborhoods of the city with the highest crimes?
Correct.
Okay. And the 3 areas they focus on is intervention, prevention, and transformation.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm assuming she absolutely loves kids. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have a better babysitter other than Andrea. So let me introduce Andrea, A.K.A. Muff. What's going on, bro?
I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad you can make it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I'm glad to be in the presence of you.
Yeah.
To be able to sit in on the podcast. So I'm grateful to be here.
Long time no hear from, man.
I'm telling you.
I mean, listen, when we get back in touch with each other, it's just still always good to see people just doing good things.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. So with what you do now, explain to the people what you like, I guess all y'all's department of operation, like what do y'all actually do?
Okay, so with Memphis Allies, we are our target audience is at-risk youth and young adult. So we work with those that are ages 12 to 17 and 18 to 35. And these are your young men and young women that are at risk, those that are active shooters, or those that are doing robberies, those that have either been a victim of gunshot or they are out here doing the shooting, gang affiliated. If they're not gang affiliated, they're kind of hanging out with those that are gang affiliated, so they headed that way,
right.
And stuff or whatever. So we try to get them, those that does not have a record or anything like that. We try to get them into our program before they get lost in these streets.
Right.
Before the streets take them over. So that's pretty much what we do. Now, I don't work on the youth side, I work on the adult side. So That's the 18 to 35 that I deal with or whatever. When you probably see me in some of the schools and things of that nature, is to build a relationship with those kids, so therefore I can build that relationship with the parents, because we do have parents that fall up under that age group that are at risk themselves,
right.
And stuff. And my biggest thing is if we can change the mentality of the parents, we can get the kids.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
So did you have the option to do kids or adults, and you just chose adults?
No, I was just hired on to work on the adult side.
Why they asked you to?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess that was just a position that came available, but I love it because it again, I'm still able to work with both of them,
right.
And stuff or whatever. I am very passionate about being over the Orange Mound region because we are from Orange Mound,
right.
So therefore it allows me to be able to it allows me to be able to relate to the families and things of that nature, and stuff. Like I tell the children when I'm walking in those hallways, hey, this is no one that you're talking to that's not outside the community. You're not talking to someone that, went to Cordova High or Carterville High School. You're talking to somebody that walked these same hallways in narrows that you all have walked, and stuff or whatever. So they're able to that's another way that they're able to relate to me. Okay, if she can do it, if she's out here doing good, I can too.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest reasons that I always show my presence at the school, so the kids can know I too have walked these hallways.
Right.
You know, just so they can see greatness have come from this neighborhood, has come from this school.
Right.
Because we are dealing with a lot of young people that are hopeless, you know, and stuff. So I go there and I try to, you know, with the spirit that I have, I try to impart that on them and let them know hope is there for you.
Right. Right.
Love is there for you. You know, again, we're dealing with kids that they don't know anything outside of 38114. And I try to tell them there's a big world outside of Orange Mound, and you can have access to it if you want it,
Right.
you know, and stuff or whatever. But again, it's a very fulfilling job. It's definitely purposeful. I know that I'm definitely walking in my purpose by fulfilling this role that I'm in. So I love it.
How long you been doing it?
It'll be 6 months coming soon.
It seems like you've been doing it long there.
It
6
does
months.
seem like well, let me say this. I've been actively doing it for the job 6 months. I've been doing this work, man, for years, at least about 20 years or so. Just something God has deposited in my heart to do.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you seen the situation last night with the rapper, with Sauce Walker and the guy that got killed?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. And this kind of going off the subject.
Okay.
But if we have, so we wanted Memphis to kind of be a place where tourists can come, people from out of town, they can come and enjoy themselves. I kind of got a little bit of information on like kind of what happened, or you know, he was maybe, I don't even think he was necessarily the target, but he was a target because they was trying to rob him. They robbed him. Based on what we know about Memphis, why would you? What's your opinion on why somebody would do that from somebody coming out of town, knowing that we do it to each other?
Yeah.
But what makes somebody? The narrative is already, man, you can't really go to Memphis, and then they prove it every time somebody comes.
Right.
Who do you think that is? Like
Somebody chasing clout.
Somebody chasing clout.
Yep.
Okay.
Man, I did this. You know what I'm saying? They make them feel like they the big dog, they the big stepper, or whatever. My biggest thing is, and that's something that I preach all the time, why do we look at each other and instantly we see animosity? Why can we not look at each other and there is love there? You know, or whatever. And that's one of the biggest things that with my participants, the reason that I'm able to really get them to be able to open up to me, because they know I come from a place of love.
Right.
I don't just talk, I don't know if I can cuss. I don't just talk this shit. You know, they know I'm genuine.
Right.
When I'm on their behinds, you know, and stuff or whatever. One of my participants, and like I said, my folks, they like 23, 25, 32, and probably 30 or whatever.
And these are people like they got like kids and homes and.
Yes.
Okay.
One of my guys, he was a college hooper and stuff, and got caught up or whatever. But like I remind them, don't allow your past, what took place in your past, do not allow that to continue to carry on. That's the person that you are.
Right.
You know, like I tell them, don't let that TDOC number that was on you, that's not who you are.
That's not who you are, right.
Rise above that.
Right.
Show people something different. And the same thing I tell my participants, the same thing I tell the youth that I'm speaking with when I'm at the school. Who is the most important person in your life? They'll say my grandma or whomever it is.
Right.
I said, well, do whatever you can to make that person happy. I said, because you may not be doing the things that you do to make yourself happy, but you know, if that would bring a smile or make your grandmama feel good, man, that's my grandboy, that's my grandson, do whatever you got to do to please that person.
Right. I like that drill. I tell people that all the time. When you got you got purpose when you're doing it for somebody else, and you probably will more likely do it if it's for somebody else rather than yourself.
Correct.
We kind of lazy when it comes to us.
Absolutely.
So I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How did you get into this?
Volunteering at Melrose. When I closed my daycare back in September, I'm just at home, nothing to do. I said, you know what? Hey, I'm putting in applications trying to get back in corporate America.
Right.
I said, well, let me just go up to the school just to volunteer.
Right.
I was doing that for a couple of, from August until October, the job and stuff. And so, up there 5 days a week, like a full-time paid employee, 7, not to 2:15 to about 4 o'clock, and I was up there. So parents thought I was the guidance counselor,
right?
You know, and so they contacted me. Miss Andrea, we got evicted, you know, and stuff like that. Hey, let me reach out to some resources and different things, because I'm all about helping people.
Right.
You know, and stuff or whatever. And so my director ended up seeing what I was doing, was like, hey, big sis, because he's a Merrill's alum as well, man, I need you on my team.
Right. And this all came from volunteering.
All came from volunteering. Wasn't doing it for no accolades or anything like that. Again, just I no longer have my job, my business or whatever. Let me go up to the school just to be a helping hand somewhere.
Right.
I was working in the office just answering the phones, but then it just moved about to, you know, greeting the children.
Right.
They coming in looking sad and stuff. Hey, good morning. Hey, beautiful. How you doing? What's up, young man? Oh, you look so nice, man. Your line so tight. You know, and stuff or whatever. So when I come into school, y'all, auntie, hey, what's up, auntie?
Right.
You know, and stuff. They were looking for me all the time. You know, and stuff or whatever. So I just made myself always readily available to them. Mm-hmm. You know, and stuff. So yeah.
Was it a lot of other volunteers there when you did it?
No.
So you didn't even know if you could volunteer. You just said, man, can I?
Well, let me say the principal did. He did allow, you know, me to come into the school because he know, you know, what I do. Mm-hmm. You know, up there feeding the football team. You know, and just various things like that or whatever. So, and I just told him, hey, you know, I'm a Merrill's alum. I'm not one of those that talk about. I'm about these kids and about this community.
Right.
So, you know, he gave me free will. Muff, whatever you need to do, come on here and do it. And I did, and again, that opened the door for my current job that I have.
So how is this? Do you get any responses from like other parents that want to volunteer? Like, is it starting a domino effect, or people?
It is starting a domino effect, and not just for other parents. It's making other alumni, our age group, wanted to say, "Oh, Muff, man, you know, I want to get with the cheerleaders because I'm a former cheerleader,
right? You
know, and stuff like that or whatever." So it is opening up opportunity for others that are alum as well to be able to come to give back in that way.
Did you have like a daycare?
I did.
What happened with that?
My daughter ended up, my baby girl, when she went into kindergarten or whatever, I was like, hey, you know, God, you done allowed me to be at home for 10 years.
Right.
You know, and stuff. I've gotten my baby into elementary now. My passion that I had for it was no longer there, and I was like, what other purpose do you have for me? And he led me to the school. I'm thinking I'm going back into healthcare because that was my career before my daycare. I was in healthcare like 15 years as an office manager, working for my kids' pediatrician and stuff or whatever. And yeah, it just one thing led to another. So here we are.
You think that's always been in you? Like as a people person, or is that something you kind of developed over time?
It has always been in me. I've just always loved people. You know, because I'm a person that if I see someone and their energy is off or something like that, what's going on?
Right.
You know, and stuff or whatever. And that's how I am even in the schools. You know, everybody wants to label these kids that's bad, you know, and stuff like that. Let's stop that because, see, we're not talking about just regular children. We're talking about kids that need grown-ups in their houses.
Right. Right.
Man, I ain't sound mama them because mama out here, man, joning. You know what I'm saying, for a couple of weeks or whatever. They responsible for making sure their little siblings eat, get to school the next day, and we worry about a pencil. I'm like Allen Iverson. We worry about practice.
Right. We worry about a
motherfucking pencil. And I done donated a gazillion pencils. Man, let this young man come in school, or this young lady, as long as they're not giving y'all no problems and being disrespectful, let them go on by their day and then go a little further more and see what's going on with them.
Right.
Instead of just throwing a label on them.
Right. And that's so you think we don't do too much of that? We don't explore and dig into the child's like life, how we was raised. You know how we were raised.
Yeah.
You know, even if they cry, hey man, quit all that crying.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with you. You know, that don't hurt. Like, we tell them how to feel as opposed to listening to how they feel.
Correct.
So what do you think is probably the main mental issue, or do you think a lot of what you see, like the teens that's trouble, do you think that it comes from a lot of their childhood traumas?
Yes.
And how do you think that they developed it? Based on, you know, based on the conversation
by their environment. You know, and stuff or whatever. They developed it by what they're used to. They're so used to functioning in dysfunction. It's functional to them.
It's functional to them. Wow.
You know, and stuff or whatever. And again, that when I'm at that school, now at home, my kids probably see a different side of me or whatever, because y'all know better. and I shouldn't have to repeat myself to y'all.
Right.
You know, or whatever. But when I'm in the presence of those children, or with my participants that I'm working with at work, or whatever, they see a little bit more softer side of me, or whatever, because it's something they've never seen in their home.
Right. Oh, wow. Wow.
So I let them know that it does exist,
Right.
and it's genuine. It's not I'm being kind to you because I want something out of you. I don't want nothing for you but the best out of you in life. And that's another reason that I get a lot of, in my position at work, I've had a lot of pushback maybe from some participants because they're used to people letting them down. They're not used to nobody sticking to their word. Man, I'm gonna be there for you, you know, and stuff or whatever. They say the shit sound good,
Right.
but when they need somebody to call on, oh well, they got a gazillion excuses why they can't come through.
Right.
Or whatever. So one thing that my participants know about me, you know, when we have our different sessions and stuff like that, whatever Andrea stand on business or whatever, and they know that. And I've had those guys to really open up to me in confidence, where they don't even feel comfortable speaking with maybe their life coaches, somebody they talk to on a daily. I only get them weekly, or if I go the extra way, man, I ain't saw you in the office this week. Are you good?
Right.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure you're straight, because again, I know we deal with high risk individuals. So
that take a lot of energy to say, I'm gonna take. Do you know how much time and energy that take to have to figure out, like, go back into your child's history and kind of learn who they are, and then bring them up? Like, most parents skip that whole part.
Yeah.
But you the type of person that you don't skip that part. You do the hard. That's the hard part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's so. How do you get like adults that come to you for advice on how to kind of like do this with their child at home?
I do. I get some of my coworkers, Andrea, how do you break through with your people?
Right.
Because I can't get mine to open up to me or whatever. And again, like I say, just like with children know who's genuine. We as human beings, we know who's genuine and who just capping, who just talking shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And yeah, so I do all the time.
How would, if somebody wanted to like volunteer and do what you do, how would they do that?
Now, volunteering, they'll probably have to, you know, contact youth villages, because like I said, we are youth villages employees, you know, and stuff or whatever. So if that's something that they're interested in, or if they're wanting to give back or volunteer maybe in the schools or something like that, I just suggest everybody, look, go down there, fill out a volunteer information at the Board of Education to let these young people see. And I challenge, you know, just various people that I talk to or whatever, go back to your high schools, let these kids see us. You know, one thing I can say about Melrose alone, they used to seeing those seasoned individuals. They ain't used to seeing our age group. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So when we're getting back in their face and in their presence, they like, oh, okay, man, this shit real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. These are people I'm more relatable to.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff or whatever. So.
And we still kind of slick dressed like them. We still know the fit, so we relate to them.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
And I'm definitely like that's. I've been trying to. I ain't gonna say I've been trying to. I got real busy because I actually was substitute teaching at a few schools. I think Newberry, Coleman. It's a few schools.
Okay.
And it was crazy. It was the beginning of last year, and I ain't gonna lie. I hadn't been around that many kids or the new kids in a long time.
Yeah.
I got my nephews and I got, you know, but they respect me and they know me.
Absolutely.
Getting around kids that don't know you, man, they don't respect you until you give them some respect.
That's it.
Off top.
Absolutely.
So was you nervous when you first started going in there and dealing with the folks?
I was not.
You weren't nervous?
I wasn't nervous.
Really?
Or whatever. I went in and because I was coming in.
Keep going out.
I was coming in with my backpack on, so they thinking I'm a student. You know, coming in and stuff, whatever the children were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they coming down cussing and stuff, I'm like, hey, watch her. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you was a kid, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Or whatever, but I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm like, because in doing the work that we do, and especially by me trying to be led by, you know, what God has called me to do, I can't activate in fear.
There you go.
I cannot. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I went in there, and again, because I made myself so open and accessible to them, they gravitated towards me. you know, and stuff or whatever. When I had to really, when I got on as Memphis Allies and couldn't be up there every day like I was, when I did pop back in about 2 or 3, Auntie Mike, where you in? Mike, we saw you in a minute. I'm like, look, I'm back in corporate America now, you know, but I do come through here as often as possible, you know, and stuff or whatever. So that has just been able to build great rapport with them. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I'm talking about, I had one of the highest ranking gang officials in the school. Principal couldn't do nothing with him. Come in there for me to holler at you. Everything good? How can I help you? Man, what you need? You good? You straight?
Right.
And I ain't brought them all the way down. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So they know look. They know that I love on them. Right. They know that I'm here. Come, let's talk. I'm talking about, I get free range in the school. We mob through the whole school. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, I got him. He good. And the principal be like, if they were Muff, they straight. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So yeah.
I had I got a few people on. I got Will Simon, which is the Democratic chair, Shelby County Democratic chair.
Okay.
We talk about a lot of stuff politically. I've had the vice chair. I've had a lot of political people on the platform. But the main thing I always tell them, because I don't identify with neither one of them. Okay. But I respect the person. So I know Will is a community guy. I know he wants best for the black community. Okay. And the main thing that my narrative is always that we kind of got to get away from these, this political talk and really get in the midst of the actual community.
Correct.
How do people what the people that actually live in the communities can see what the problem is.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Absolutely.
we really can solve our own problem if we come together.
That's true.
So people like you, and I actually told him to come up here today. He said he was going to try to, because I wanted to introduce you to him. Okay. If not today, then we going to get you.
Yeah.
But what do you, as far as the responses from people though, like how far are you trying to, like just on your personal journey, how far are you trying to take it to where, are you trying to get other people involved? Are you trying to do things like outside, like your own thing and build something on that?
The goal is definitely to try to get others involved, and stuff or whatever. It's just, I want consistency from people. Right. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Again, you have to be one of those that it has to be in your heart. You can't be you can't say that you're here for the work, but you want the accolades and pat on the back.
How you find them people though?
They'll find you.
Okay.
Because they'll see what it is you're doing, man. I like what you're doing. Matter of fact, the other day we had the 369 Safeway or something with the city of Memphis. A plethora of people were down there. A judge that I grew up in church with, a young lady I grew up in church with, she's now a judge, and stuff and whatever. And she was like, oh, Muff, you work for Memphis Allies or whatever. I need to get with you. Right. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So you're able to be in different rooms with different people that has the same concept, same mentality, and wanting to move our city forward in a better space. Like I tell the people that I work with, the young guys that I work with or whatever, hey, we're trying to make Memphis a safer space for all of us. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So, yep.
You get a lot of these young, now I'm finna get into me now. You see, do you have a lot of young niggas that be in stealing these cars and shit like that?
Yeah, I told you. Our folks are at risk. Yeah, like aggravated robbery, attempted murder, stuff like that. But here's the thing, I don't get jaded about whatever that paperwork say. Yeah. Because I'm looking at you as an individual. Right. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And like I remind them, I was doing this work for 18 years. I helped advocate and got my uncle out of jail after 32 calendar years bid. Like 32 flat. He didn't do 10, got out, did 10 more. 32 flat. You know what I'm saying? So I was a big advocate for his. Yeah. To the point of I done went and knocked on the warden's door. Hey, you haven't returned my phone calls for 1632.59. This is it. This house will come on in, and stuff or whatever. And again, my biggest thing is, like I tell them, now they may just be a number to you all. He's our loved one. Right. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So they, Tony Parker, the then TDOC commissioner, when my number came through, this house, how can we help you? You know what I'm saying, or whatever, because they knew, man, I'm standing on business. Y'all making too much money off of these men and women that are incarcerated. and y'all treat them like shit. Now I'm gonna make sure that y'all stay down on the business, especially not just because my uncle is here, because he know I'm riding with him. What about those that don't have nobody
Right.
to advocate for them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah.
Do you think the approach is we need to kind of more or less modernize the approach to these young people? And what I mean by that is, do they not respond to things on how we used to do things back in the day?
I think, for one, it's our approach. If we go to them trying to preach to them,
Yeah.
you don't want to hear this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I was at KFC and Taco Bell, and I said, Lord, I want to say something to this young man. I knew he was a YN or whatever. I said, but I don't want him to cuss me out or do anything. I said, so you put it on my heart how you want me to deliver it. Had his pants off his tail and everything. I said, come here. So he came up. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you'll look so much more handsome if you pull your pants up. Man, yes, man, my grandma stay on my ass out there.
Yeah.
Man, you have a good day, you know, upon me leaving at the restaurant or whatever. So it's our approach and how in our delivery and what we're doing with these young people.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of young men that were more or less, because I know the spirit of a strong woman, you can get the attention from a young man probably quicker than a man would. Because a lot of these men they never actually been disciplined by a man before.
Yeah.
But they would listen to a strong woman and be like, yes, ma'am. Do you see that?
I see that, and I think a lot of that is attest to me being a mother of four. The mother within me comes across to them, and they're able to receive it. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Yeah, the mothering that they may not have ever received, they get that from me.
Muff, I know your last job, they hate to lose you. You was a nurse too?
No, I was the office manager.
Oh, okay.
And let me say this, I've been gone since 2014. I was still having patients calling me like up until a year ago, knowing I got a daycare.
Yeah.
Andrea, I cannot get an appointment. I said, y'all know I don't work there no more. You know I've been gone like over 10 years or whatever, but just those type of relationships.
Relationships, right.
You know, and stuff or whatever. So yeah, yes indeed.
That's the one con of being a good person, is that everybody start gravitating towards you.
Yeah.
They want to talk to you.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes indeed. And here I go, calling the doctor, say, hey man, y'all go 60 try to get the appointment, go and get them folks in.
Right. So you at, how often are you at Melrose?
At least 3 days a week.
For real? Mm-hmm. So what do you do in the school? Like, why you there?
So while I'm at the school, I'm normally meeting with like the family engagement specialists and things like that, because trying to work together with the parents. Melrose no longer has a PTO or whatever. I'm forming a PTO because I'm like, hey, we need parents back in this building.
Man.
We need parent and parental involvement back with these children, because a lot of them feel, oh, they're in high school now, I can kind of cut the ropes on them. No, they need you now more than ever, you know, and stuff or whatever. So, yeah, I'm up there meeting with like the family engagement specialists. I'm meeting with guidance counselors and things of that nature. Yeah, so principal, assistants,
Right.
Teachers, you know, and everybody.
Everybody. When you're dealing with these kids, how do you see any change, or does it affect how you actually deal with your own kids? Like, do you take some of the things you do with the kids at the school and kind of bring it home? Or do you even need to? Because you probably got some kids that's straight up and down.
Right. What I do have to do is sometimes humble my children and remind them, hey, y'all have always had mom and daddy. You know what I'm saying,
Right,
or whatever.
right.
When you come in, it's never been the issue that when you flick that light, that motherfucker don't come out. When you pull that refrigerator open, it's something in there to eat, ain't just a can of what's
Potted meat, vine
meat.
and sausage.
That's it, in the Kool-Aid jar.
Right.
You have food.
You got
in there.
food, real food.
Everybody has their own room. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I said, don't forget, this ain't everybody's life. I said, even in y'all schools or whatever, because I have a son at Central, daughter at Bellevue, baby girls at Dunbar. I said, even at you all school, y'all are dealing with individuals that had eaten since lunch yesterday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They go after lunch, that's it. You know what I'm saying, or
Right.
whatever. They having to go home and tend to siblings. y'all have never been made to have to tend to no siblings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those are things sometimes I may have to remind my children about. Like if I tell them to do something and they ain't quick to do it like I need them to do it. Hey, well, when you say, "Oh, mama, hey, we were going back to the beach,"
Right.
Your dad like, "Go on, book that shit."
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I'm like, so respect.
Right.
What I ask of you, because you all have, y'all are, this is not the reality for your classmates.
Right.
You know, and stuff, so yeah.
I know, you got how many boys?
One son.
One son. Oh, and all girls.
3 girls.
Okay. Oh, and they at, are they at Merrill's or?
My son was at Merrill's. I did the experiment.
Oh,
Pulled him out of White Station. 4.2 GPA. I'm like, EJ, bring your smarts to Merrill's. You call me the valedictorian, this is that, and other, blah, blah, blah. Now, granted, when he came, because this before I started working, so I'm at the school every day.
Right.
When he came, now the coursework was hard as hell because he was in all AP classes. So them teachers, they was on them. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. It was the behavior of the children he couldn't rock with. He was like, well, I'm not used to this. I'm used to more structure, you know, and this is that and the other, or whatever. So he was like,
what was your experiment though? What was you trying to do?
Bring him over there so other young men could see, hey, this somebody from the neighborhood too, but he ain't no young in, he ain't no YN like that.
Right.
He has aspirations of a vision to do better in life. Right. When he got there, they said, "Oh, we know you ain't from the hood." He was like, I'm from the mound.
Right.
For real? You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And I was like, because they're looking at you because you carry yourself a certain kind of way. You straight pretty boy. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And that was my thing, just so other young man could see somebody that's a peer of theirs, but they ain't on that follow type shit.
Right.
Be your own, have your own individuality about yourself.
That's how we talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Be your own person.
So did it work? Or did
he
they
was
try?
there 6 weeks. Mama, I know what you, I know the vision. You and daddy. Yeah.
4.2?
Yeah. Yeah. He like, Mom, I know what you and daddy trying to do. Y'all Golden Wildcats, I got that. That ain't me.
Right.
Send me back to White Station. They had a 400 person wait list. I had to tell my sister-in-law they stay by Central. Let me use your address.
A 400 person waiting to get back in White Station?
Yes.
God.
Yes.
You got him back on there when
Well, no, like I said, he is Central now. Or whatever.
Oh, you still ain't got on.
So I did the general, I did the optional, because he can't be an optional with his grades and stuff or whatever. So I did the optional school transfer. So hopefully he'll be back next year.
Gotcha.
But it was a good experience. He's 17 now. It was a good experience for him because he was able to see, this the jungle.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes, absolutely. He was able to see, this the jungle. But then he also had the young guys like, Eric, your mama the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I see why you the caliber of young man you are. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
They didn't try to bully him or nothing like that.
At all.
That's good.
That's
good.
Yeah, because they know, Miss Andrea is Miss Andrea, but don't forget.
Yeah.
I'm an orange mouth stomper.
Man, I'm telling you.
Don't play with you.
And look.
That's it. Know their parents and everything.
And they don't look like that when he tell them, I'm from the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At White Station, they was like, Eric, you from, because he'll come in with orange man pullover. Eric, you from Orange Man? He's like, yeah, man.
Oh, your son named Eric? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, man, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like, we're still in the area. We just in Castaic right now, man. You don't stay. He was like, man, dude, I live in Castaic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be hard for them to grasp.
It kind of is, though. It kind of is.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. I actually love the idea because I feel like even though we all want best for our kids, they need a piece of their culture where they actually come from.
Absolutely.
And be around it long enough to where they'll see, it's a different life.
Absolutely.
And it makes you a little bit stronger to when now you get around these white folk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Yes.
So,
indeed.
but you got in 6 weeks he was able to see a little bit about what's going on.
Yes, he saw a lot of bit about what's going on. What he didn't like, and I said, and this is something I'm definitely going to bring before the school board and stuff like that or whatever. Back when we were in school, I ain't want to miss school because school was fun.
What? I just said that.
You know, or
We love real. Oh well, you was at Melrose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He dreads going to school. Well, at Melrose, he dreaded going to school. For one, it was like a prison. Or it's currently like a prison. You know what I'm saying? And that again is something, another reason why I'm always advocating. I tell them just straight up, like, let me tell you something. Y'all would not take this attitude y'all have with these black children in Melrose and take it to Bartlett because their parents wouldn't have it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, why we got to treat our babies like that? Or whatever. Why can't, and I have told Board Chair Coleman, because she's a Melrose alum, or whatever, I told her several times, two of the biggest things that's lacking from our school system is empathy and sympathy. They don't express it when it comes to our children. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, and the kids recognize it, and that's why when they come barking at the kids, them kids bark a little bit more harder than they do.
Right.
Like, man, I'm just coming in the school building. Why you acting like this towards me? You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Or, you know,
I hate that, man.
I hate it. You know, they'll try to reprimand, or they will try to reprimand the kids from coming into school if they smell like weed. Look, we don't know what these children are dealing with. Go spray yourself down, air out for a minute or whatever, but let them come in this business. They ain't coming in here being disruptive. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like, simmer down some. Like, really, they're not in the building smoking.
Yeah.
They probably just hit hell. Some of them hit something with their daddy before getting out the vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So again, that goes back to me saying, for a lot of these young kids, they are mama and dad in their home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you coming in here, and I'm all for a child, you know, remaining in the child's place and stuff like that, or whatever. But let's give a little respect so we can get some back. You know, but we are in a time of, especially in these schools, I'm the teacher, this is whatever I say goes.
Yeah.
This shit don't mean it's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because those were some of the things I had to address while my son was in Melrose. You know, the SRO officers or whatever. Again, y'all on this tough shit. Well, hey, wait a minute. My son comply with everything that y'all asking him for. Why your bar got to be so big? Because see, his mama ain't fucking going when it come to mine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, Miss Muff, I didn't know that was your son. It don't matter if that's my son. These are children. Let's treat them all the same, no matter whose child it is.
Yeah, you got children. You don't want nobody talking to your children like that.
Absolutely.
And Muff, trust me, I get it.
I just know that in the position of a teacher, I know what they go through, and I know that most people don't have the same love for another child like they would theirs.
Right.
And they look at every child the same. So your child with a 4.2 is 6 feet away from the knuckleheads over here.
Yeah.
I'm finna, coach come in, man, y'all get y'all at and go at your son and treat him the same way. Not even, but you done grouped them all up.
Right.
So we don't individualize, kids and get to know them.
Absolutely.
So that's where I feel like the parents should come in. Like, there's no participation from, okay, we send our kids to school and they get what they get from school, but we want the teachers to do everything.
Everything. Absolutely.
So, in your opinion, I know this is gonna be a loaded question, but how do you think we can separate that? How can we get the message to adults? If we want our kids to start at least getting somewhat right, what are we gonna do to come together and stop putting all our responsibility in other people's hands?
I think the biggest thing is just reminding the parents that we have to work together.
Right.
And if we don't form a relationship together, we can have the common goal, and that's the best interest of the child. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And here's my thing, and I tell people this all the time, for the vast majority of some of these parents, y'all ass ain't going to work. Y'all going back home to sleep.
Right.
Or blow some kush.
Yeah. Can't wait to get rid of their child,
You
to be
know
honest
what I'm
with
saying?
you. Right.
Absolutely, or whatever. So again, to let them know, hey, parents, we need you all's involvement. In order for us to do all that we can for your child, that's gonna take me depending on you and you leaning and depending on me. And stuff or whatever. So that's one of the biggest things that has been a hurdle with getting these parents to the school. The other day I had to do something at Sherwood or whatever. 2 parents came for the coffee and conversations. 2 out of a school with hundreds of kids, 2 parents come. I'm like, man, it's awful.
So So I mean, you said something about we need to get a PTA program back in Melrose.
Yeah.
So they don't have no parent-teacher meetings
They
at all.
don't well, nothing more than what the board requires, and that's a parent conference that, you know, they do like according to when the report cards and stuff come out
Right.
or whatever. But no, you know, like I told the parents, I said, and here's the thing, I do appreciate the fact that I have classmates that kids are there, and these are parents that, you know, kids are on the football team, so they coming from East and Bartlett and different places like that or whatever, so they're involved or whatever, so we're reaching out to our classmates as well. Hey, come on, we're trying to form a PTA. I really need y'all to get involved. This is that and the other, because it's only going to be the betterment for your children.
Right.
You know, and stuff or whatever. And like I tell them, I say, here's the thing: when the staff and admin see a parent that is really involved in their kid, they gonna go that extra mile to make sure their child's straight as well.
Right.
But they can't give a damn if you ain't giving a damn.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
so yeah.
Right. Andrea, you need to run for president. You need to run for for real, because people like you is first of all in this, and you actually in the school. So to be in the school, I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be such a hard thing for people to, you know, jump on your train, jump on this same thing. But again, people gotta have a heart for that.
That's
and
right.
it's just not in a lot of people's heart to do that.
Absolutely.
They do it for a job and a check.
That's it.
And I seen you on Facebook. Now I see you all the time. I knew you had a daycare and all that.
Yeah.
But at some point, I said, let me see what you're, because I mean, you know, this is you put out content, and your page is natural. It don't look forced or nothing. Now she really doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me holler at Drew, because I know she really got a heart for what she's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the hardest part about what you do?
There is no hard part.
No hard part.
When I tell y'all, it used to be, even with my daycare, hard for me to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get up. I gotta get the dough, because the first child finna be here on their doorbell at 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I get up every morning enthused, excited to go to work, because my thing is, who life can I impact today?
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. That's my end goal every day, trying to impact at least one person's life, whether an adult or a kid, but somebody. I gotta reach you, because like I tell the people that I encounter, hey, y'all are leaving here at an alarming rate, between the ages of 18 and about 30. And we got to do something to try to combat and reduce some. And our biggest thing with its allies, we know we can't eliminate gun violence, but if we can reduce it some, let's try to reduce some of this gun violence that plays across our city. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But it goes back to, we shouldn't look at each other and automatically see animosity. Why we can't look at each other and receive love from one another? You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But that goes back to when I did have my child care. That's something I drilled into my babies when they was like 2 years old. God is love. I love you. You know what I'm saying? When I tell y'all, I've never had an experience where a child was hit in my daycare. They had been beaten in my daycare, because they know there wasn't the culture of my daycare.
Right.
It was, hey, good morning, you know what I'm saying? Just bubbling. That's what was put out in the atmosphere, and that's what the kids got hold to, or whatever. They came in every morning. I said, what y'all supposed to say in the morning? Thank you, Lord, for waking me up. I said, that's right. That's what we say in the morning.
Right.
You know, and stuff or whatever. And I'm talking about my clientele of parents. They were either principals in healthcare, teachers. Some of them were, you know, just parent going to cosmetology school or something like that, or whatever. They knew it didn't matter what your status was, what tax bracket you fell up under. Whatever love I give to that child receives it as well.
Same thing, right?
You know, I have kids. I want to say my first set of kids that I've had in my daycare, they're probably 8th and 9th graders now, or whatever. They still, Ms. Muff, you gonna have your summer camp in the summer. You know what I'm saying? Because even with those older ones, I still push love.
Right.
You know, I've had some of my kids, the parents will tell me, Muff, I can do nothing at home, but when they with you, you don't have no problems with them. I said, because they know I keep my foot on their neck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they know it's out of love.
Out of love.
They do know that, or whatever. Like, she cutting up at the school. I'm on the way.
Right. So,
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you can't have one without the other. They won't work. If
That's
I give you
right.
too much discipline, no love, that ain't gonna work.
That's right.
And I give you too much love with no discipline, that ain't no work.
It's not gonna work.
You know what's crazy, Drill? Now you making me think of every teacher that I can remember that come to mind are the ones that gave me love.
That's it.
I went to Dunbar, kindergarten, first and second.
Okay.
I remember the teachers that Miss Freeman and Miss Ellis, my kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
Hey, just that bubbly.
Yes.
Miss Freeman, same. She'll come to your house.
Yes.
She'll walk you home.
Yes.
Those are the people I remember.
Absolutely.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking at come down my Facebook timeline. Boosie was reintroduced to a teacher
Right.
of his or whatever, and I was telling my daughter, I said, see, teachers don't realize how impactful they are in kids' lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important. And with me as being a daycare, I'm these kids' first teacher. So what I've deposited into them or whatever, that is something that's going to carry on with them because they had a good experience with me.
Right.
It wasn't dreadful. Mom, I don't want to go to Miss Muff house. Them chokers didn't want to leave. I'm talking about I love my daycare kids so much so I knew a lot of them were single mothers and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, let them stay the weekend. I got them, come get them Sunday. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I ain't go to happy hour. He come back about 10 o'clock. They good. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I extended myself to them because again, it takes a village. It takes a village.
Muff, we gonna have to connect on some. This is all this time we've been knowing each other. Sometimes when you get older, you find out what you if you find yourself back reconnected with somebody, you need to find out why.
Yes.
So I think we're on the same page,
Okay.
and we need to
Sounds
do some
good.
things together. So we finna jump into this last segment, man. It's the Would You Rather segment. So I'm gonna ask you a few Would You Rather questions,
Okay.
right? That's coming from your own perspective. Now,
All
be
right.
honest now.
Oh, yeah, of
All right.
course.
First question. Would you rather help a young person discover their passion or guide them through overcoming a difficult challenge?
Overcoming a difficult challenge. Because if they can overcome that difficult challenge, they can dive into their passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have said the same thing. Would you rather help kids find more extracurricular activities to keep them busy, or find more ways to help them get mental health solutions? So you either gonna keep them busy, or you're gonna work at trying to see what's psychologically going on with them.
Because of the children that I encounter a lot deal with so much trauma, I got to work on this.
Their mental health. Right.
Because if I don't catch them right now, they gonna go out and they gonna do something that's gonna hunt their ass
Right.
for the remainder of their life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. Now that's a hard one too, but it's, even though it's would you rather, which one would you rather do? Both are important, and the crazy part about it is they got a program. I think Chief Keef, he was going through the program where they just, instead of getting guns, they all get paintballs.
Okay.
So it's paintball therapy.
Yes.
I think a lot of stuff don't really necessarily work no more if you're not really athletic. You know, these kids they tall and don't even want to play football, basketball no more. But if you give them something that they either give them a safe way to do something they see on TV anyway.
I got you.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
But their mental health, that's exactly where I would go, because I don't think once a child gets to know, just like grown people, some grown people are just big kids because they just haven't grown. That inner boy is just,
that's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Now, would you rather push the youth to become an entrepreneur or go to college?
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. Why?
If I'm gonna push college, it's trade school. Why you going to this 4-year college and upon graduating and racking up so much debt, you still don't know what you want to do?
Right.
Or you still graduate, but you working at Amazon. Nope.
Still trying to get the manager position.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I think if we, I always push entrepreneurship, especially with my participants, because these are people with heinous backgrounds, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So therefore, we know you can get a job. It may not be hard for you to get one, but who can live off $7 an hour?
Right. Right.
Go open your lawn service.
Right.
Go and do something that you know can work with your hands that's going to draw money, and therefore you too are able to employ somebody else.
Don't you know most of the people that come like out of prison when they forced to work for themselves, they will probably make more money than they would on a job. Like I know some folks that makes some good money.
Yes.
Straight out of
Absolutely.
prison.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yes, indeed.
I guess when you forced to do something like me, I always I put myself in I like for my back to be against the wall sometimes.
Okay.
Because it kind of forces me to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So last question.
Okay.
Would you rather teach kids how to effectively express their emotions? Because you know these little niggas is emotional.
Yeah.
Or get better at finding solutions to solve problems?
Wow. Let me see. I think I'm gonna lean towards having the better solutions to solve problems, because a lot of them right now, their problem solver pulling up their Glock. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. If I can effectively work with them in that area, then I can get to that other area with them.
Right.
Or whatever. But yeah, because these young people, they're so
emotionally responsive.
Yes. You can't step on the joker's shoe and they ain't finna pull up on you. You know, because you say, excuse me, my bad, bro.
Right.
Quick enough. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I think if we can kind of navigate, because both of them can work hand in hand.
Yeah.
So if I can go and get you in this area right here, ain't no problem with me getting you over there on that side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even think like how they see problems. They got one solution for every problem.
Yeah.
Like we don't talk. And I ain't gonna lie. Look, grown people too. How is it that we just took conversations all the way out the picture? We automatically go to violence?
Yeah,
for
right.
disagreement?
Absolutely.
We can't disagree?
That's right. Absolutely. Yes,
Listen.
indeed.
That's what this podcast is for. It's to share perspectives and not get ridiculed for it. You can
Right.
say whatever it is that you really feel and not be ashamed to say
Yes.
it. And you're not going to be slapped in the face for it.
Right.
You said something earlier, man, and I was trying to go back to it. I kept missing that point, but I probably just have to remember it and holler at you about it off camera. But that's it, Drill. I appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
First of all, I'm going to definitely have you on again.
All right.
And I'm going to have you on with a panel this time. And we're going to really get into some good stuff.
Sounds good.
Where can they find you? If somebody needs to reach out to you, holler at you. Where can they find you?
I am on Facebook, you all.
Yes,
You
okay.
can find me. Okay, I'm on Facebook. You can find me at Andrea Jones. Just straight Andrea Jones.
Andrea Jones.
On Facebook. And yeah, I'm not hard to find. If anyone, again, if you all know anyone that have a troubled child or young adult in their family, it could be a church member of yours, it can be somebody in your neighborhood, a close associate, a friend, or whatever. Please refer them to either myself or Memphis Allies, again, because like I said, our biggest goal is just trying to make Memphis a better and safer place for all of us. And a lot of times, parents just they don't know where to turn to when they have a child that's out there thugging and in those streets, or again, as I stated earlier, they may not be doing it, but they're hanging with those that are doing it. So eventually they're gonna take part of it, you know, and stuff. So yeah, if you have anyone that falls up under at-risk youth or young adult, and this isn't just gender-based, I mean, this isn't just for males, we have females in our program as well, because I didn't realize that we have so many females that's real-life shooters out here. Yes, indeed, or whatever. So yeah, you can definitely reach me on Facebook, Andrea Jones.
Hey man, we finna be making some noise in the streets. We're gonna connect. Y'all gonna see us again on this podcast. Again, go to my website, www.elitecreditconnect.com. I always gotta tell people, listen, if you're trying to get your credit fixed, go to my website. I'm literally, I'm gonna be running a special all next month, so definitely reach out to me. Drill, it was a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see y'all in the next episode.
All right.